Alright, they can hear us.
See anything?
Alright.
I don't see anything.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to D&D&D&D&D, campaign number 1, Under Locks and Keys. When we last left off, the party successfully cleared the hideout at the Lake of Nice jailhouse of its criminal element. Making a temporary alliance with their captain, Bryce Thorne, to be led to the pyramid and told the weakness of the beast at the top. The party made their way out of the jailhouse only to be assailed by the ever-changing weather of Levant, courtesy of the breastplate they're seeking, which turned the ashen fog into a sandstorm. Asari coming dangerously close to death for her liking, the party managed to find shelter in the somewhat lavish home of the mechanic couple, and having time to rest and recoup. The sandstorm thankfully did not last too long, whether that's due to simply running out of sand to kick around or the weather pattern simply changing once more. The party was able to leave early the next day. However, they know that these calms do not typically last long, so time is of the essence. However, before making their way out back to the where the tram station would be, the party decided to alter the deal they made with Captain Thorne, where in exchange for his life and limbs, he would tell them the weakness of the dragon at the top and what exactly it is.
I have changed the
however, to ensure that the party... pray we do not alter it further. However, in a smart play for his life, Bryce Thorne signed a blood oath with Paul, where the gods will be monitoring, and if either of them brings direct or indirect harm to the other, the gods will punish that whoever broke the oath. With his safety assured, he finally fessed up. The beast that he encountered at the top, that guards the breastplate, is a massive feathered serpent, a rare and exotic dragon that is in fact sentient and capable of speech. However, Bryce, most likely from his time as a circus performer, had a mask that looked much like a frog, which seemed to deeply frighten the dragon, which led to Bryce discovering that the beast has a phobia of frogs that cripples it with fear beyond measure. And taking advantage of this, he's been storing his loot to have the dragon essentially indirectly guard his belongings as well as the breastplate. With the party now possessing this information, it seems like they hope to potentially negotiate with the beast. And if that fails, they now have an ace up their sleeve, a crippling fear, and someone in the party capable of transforming directly into it. So, as the elf and human engineer couple lead you guys down the pathway around the Sea of Kinneret to take you to the tramcar station, what would you guys like to do, if anything?
So, is it agreed that I can speak to my kin?
My kin? That was... Well...
Yeah.
We never really said anything about that, so I don't know much about greed.
I thought we did.
No, I don't think we mentioned.
Oh, well, then I will change that to, if it's alright with you, I would like to commune with the dragon before trying to scare it.
Well...
It's worth a shot.
I guess it doesn't really matter who communes with it, just... I prefer not to use the whole... I would prefer to use a scare tactic as last resort. So if your communication spell, I would probably step in.
Do you think on the way up you could turn into a frog and then jump into my pocket, and then if I need you, I can just whip you out? And by her face, like, you can't really tell if, like, she's joking or not. But, Greylog, you know her to be joking.
Well, I don't think that'd be a smart move there.
I'm just saying, if persuasion and diplomacy fail, I have literally a frog in my pocket.
And
It's not a bad idea.
well, I don't know much about this beast.
We'll only do it once we get close.
I don't know much about this.
I don't know much about this beast, but I do know things about my kin.
Yeah, you're a kin. Are you part snake?
I am part dragon.
Well, it sounds like he has a snake of body, so who knows?
Some dragons are serpents.
Either way,
Serpentine, I should say.
nonetheless, I just don't know if he'll be able to detect if you have a frog on you. Basically,
Unless it can see in my pockets, I don't think so. But if you think that is not a good idea, perhaps Greylog can just assist me and turn into one if things go south.
Well, there's also that, and I was just thinking, how quiet is Greylog of sorts, because any sort of croak could be enough. It sounds like that could be enough.
I'm pretty quiet when I need to be.
Yeah, he is quiet when he needs to be. He's not,
I'm not going to wait till she steps up to me and go,
Either way.
All right. Flower and Fall, what are you doing?
Just so when are we gonna head out?
What do you think about that?
One more time, Flower Fall, sir?
Just when are we gonna head out?
Yeah, well, you guys are already heading down the path. You're like circling the lake to get to the tram car station right now.
I thought we were still
I'm just giving you...
idling.
And Asari asked what you two think of the current plan.
Doesn't sound bad. Dragons can be mean, so.
She kind of gives like a wide, toothy smile. I know.
That was
Right.
random.
And Ivabin, what are you doing?
He's just walking along, waiting to get this done.
All right.
He doesn't really
All right.
care how they decide to deal with it, as long as they decide to deal with it.
Yeah, I just figured I always like to check in and make sure if there's any player NPC dialogue you want to get done. These walks are the time to do it. All right.
Are they still walking with the... what's it called?
The engineers, yeah, they're leading you guys down the path.
There isn't anything he wants to talk to them at this moment.
Okay. All right. In that case, you guys
Matthew.
circle. What's up?
I was going to ask, would my character know what kind of armor this is?
The wind breastplate.
Yeah.
A breastplate.
Like, what does it do?
As far as I know, your background, I'm going to assume, given your friendship with Asari and your at least association with celestial beings, I'll say make me a history check with advantage.
Yeah, I mean, 'cause there's also light armor, medium armor, heavy armor. Basically, if someone's aware.
God for advantage. 19.
Okay. What'd you get without the advantage, just so I can flavor it?
4.
All right. You did, given that your associated gods don't typically, like, basically there wouldn't have been much reason for you to know this information or have been told it. However, Asari, in her ever-present quest to know everything, wanting to have all of the knowledge of an elf scholar with keen mind, she has mentioned offhandedly her studies of the Wind Breastplate. The Wind Breastplate is known in its native land under a different local name that you do not remember off the top of your head, but from what you do know, it is supposedly indeed a breastplate made out of a almost like conch shell-like material, this like seaborn shell texture, almost like coral carved into armor. And supposedly, while no one but Quetzalcoatl has worn it, as far as either of you know, supposedly it grants him even smoother flight speed. Basically, he's even faster with the armor on than he would be without, which has made it a object of desire to creatures that are capable of flight, such as harpies, sprites. Basically, anything with wings is interested in getting their hands on the armor, but given that it is the personal armor of a god, makes it a ambitious snag, to be sure.
Suicide.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. If there's nothing else for this point, you guys circle the Sea of Kennenet. Paul, you can hear the distant of aquatic creatures, or rather waterfowl. You can see the silhouettes of them diving into the water to snag what fish hasn't been kicked out by the rampant weather. You imagine that the local wildlife, given that vision you saw of the local nature spirit, you imagine the animals here have not been faring much better than the people have with the weather, and it seems like they're taking what they can get and trying desperately to hunt as much as possible before the weather gets bad again. Similar to the first time, it's this almost disquieting calm before the literal storm. You can see flying creatures dipping in and out of the water, some hovering at the top, gliding on what winds there are safe to glide on. The skies, however, remain cloudy. You haven't really seen full sunlight since any of you came here, which is a relief for some of you, but disquieting for others. Eventually, you see off the side of the road, about midway around the lake
as
path.
we're walking,
What's up?
sorry. I don't mean to interrupt, but
It's all
while
good.
we're
What you
walking,
need?
I'm drinking in all the different animals I see
Okay.
for future use.
Noted. I will say the main one you see, you wouldn't know them by this name, but for your reference in consulting the monster manual, you see pteranodons.
Yeah, you see all the turn into. That's a cool creature. I'll file.
Off the side of the road, towards the right, you can see a large stone tower. Not like crazy looming, just almost like a guard post, basically. And stretching off of it, you can see lengths of rope attached to what appears to be a hand crank system. And as you begin to approach it, the engineers turn back towards you, and Lazaro speaks up. All right, looks like it's still in one piece, although we'll need to get a closer look to make sure it's still operational. I'd say I hope you guys enjoy the view, but given circumstances, probably not going to be a whole hell of a lot to see.
Well, hopefully
Don't worry, we'll leave a good review.
And I've been.
I was gonna say, well, hopefully after we're done, maybe this weather will calm down, and the return trip might be a little bit better.
I sure hope so. The two of them approach the tower, and Harold pulls a set of keys from his belt and opens the tower doors. As you guys enter, it's a relatively humble establishment. You can see a circle of chairs and tables, likely for people waiting on this side of the system to be carted up the other. And a winding set of stairs leading to the top of the tower, which the two wave for you to follow them up. The insides actually seem to be relatively intact, and the engineers do not miss this themselves as they start making their way up. Honestly, if the place wasn't rubble, I at least expected the trolley car wouldn't have survived. Yeah, it's almost like the storm's just hit the cities. They kind of shake their head. As the two of them guide you guys up, you find yourselves on the top of the tower. It's a pretty good view for what it's worth. The surrounding plains and lake have a distinct ashen look to them. You can tell that the various winds have not been kind as ash from Mount Lehava continue to just pour down onto them. So the plains and lake water have this just overall like dark, like dirty look to them. But indeed, as you guys...
Hope they didn't get their drinking water from that lake.
The two kind of shrug a little bit and... ever since things started going south, we've mostly just been taking what we can get from the rain or whatever preserves we had lying around. Harold gives a nod, and lucky most of us were smart enough to guess something like this might happen. Had at least enough supplies for the first few weeks lying around. Hanging slightly over the center of the tower, attached by a pole and some rope, is a large wicker basket that, indeed, while it is wet and soggy, does appear functional. And Harold kind of gives an experimental punch to the bottom of it and seems satisfied that it will not simply give way from it being soaked in water. And all right, and pulls open the side, a small latch allowing it to open. It's rather charming, all things considered. And yeah.
Are you sure that's going to be able to hold my weight?
He kind of gives a smile and We've had bigger things than you take this before. I assure you
they're
it's
like
safe.
wicker baskets.
Well, it's not actually wicker, it just looks that way. It's actually arachne silk. And this stuff is made not to snap, even under the weight of a dragon.
I thought humans usually preferred using metal to make things.
Not always. Round here, we prefer to take a more naturalistic, hippie approach. And he kind of gives a shrug. It's part of the reason we let go a lot of the miners. Didn't have a whole lot of need for metal once we just started getting everything from, well, each other.
Raven's gonna be like, it'd be nice if this idea could spread to the humans near where I grew up.
They kind of both give you a sad smile, and Harold gives a nod. Yeah. Round here, there's lots of people who think like that, but yeah, we know across the pond, as it were, it's a lot more harsh. Rest assured, we're not perfect, but we're not like that, I can safely say. And he gives a smile. People like you are always welcome here, I can tell you that.
Raven's, as he's like walking near the basket thing, he's gonna say, "Oh, I hope the two of you can hold out. I think you would be interesting individuals to talk more with."
Well, make sure the next tornado don't carry us off, if nothing else. Yeah. You do what you came here to do, and, well, we should be just fine. He kind of pats you on the shoulder and gives it a light squeeze and a smile before gently helping you, basically giving you a boost to get up, because the basket is elevated. Gives you a boost to climb up into the basket.
Which one was helping him again?
Harold, the human.
Okay, just making sure, just for visual and all that.
No, yeah, of course. And he offers the same helping hand to the rest of you if you need it, while,
yeah. It's gonna be funny watching him try that with the Dragonborn, who weighs like a ton.
I was about to say, she kind of like looks at his hand and just kind of gives a very amused look.
Just trying to be polite.
Like, I appreciate the offer, though you couldn't handle me. And she goes inside the basket.
You couldn't handle me.
All right.
You can attest to that.
Damn.
All right. Do the rest of you just get into the basket? Basically, if there's anything notable you want to say or do, now's the time to say it.
I get it.
Yeah, Paul doesn't have anything at the moment, so he'll get in.
All right.
Yeah, we just float into the basket. It's fine.
All right. As the five of you hop up into the basket.
Five.
Remember, Flower and Fall are twin minds, so.
Yeah, well, there's two different bodies, so.
As the 5.5 of you. All right, but yeah, as you guys hop up into the basket, Harold closes it, and Lazaro gives a smile, and just, all right, Mount La Hava, one-way ticket. Keep all hands and arms inside the basket at all times, and Harold kind of holds up a hand, and we're going to want to work fast here. The weather's not going to hold for long. Right, yeah, sorry. He gives you guys a smile, and going up. And with that, Harold runs to the side of the pole where you can see a system of gears and cranks. And he begins to turn the lever that seems the most equipped for his hands. Lazaro, for his part, gives a heaving push on the rope, and you can see a slight spin as between his forward momentum and the gears and cranks begin to essentially swirl the knotted rope. And your basket kind of shudders for a second before slowly drifting away from the tower and out over the open fields. And you can see they continue to rotate the pulley system and push against the rope. It's not fast, but it's overall pleasant. As you get further away from the tower and the basket with your weight begins to hang lower down, it smooths out the ride significantly, almost like you're just floating. And that gives you ample time to relax and enjoy your surroundings.
Wow.
Looking around, as you get higher up, you're actually able to see over the blanket of fog and ash that perpetually covers whatever's not being currently windswept or weather-racked. You can see, if you look up way to the north, you can see a distant town, which would be the town of Kinneret. You can see Lake Onice back to your southeast. The lake stretches below you, and even with its ashy, darkened waters, you can still see the reflections of yourselves and the cloudy sky over your heads. You are kind of startled briefly whenever with one of the massive pteranodons flies over your basket, but they don't seem hostile and actually just kind of circle the basket curiously before diving back down into the waters below. You can see a flock gathering to feast on the bounty of the lake, seeming unaware or uncaring of the lake's tainted waters. The fields between the town of Kinneret and the city of Lake Onice are stained ashy black, but definitely are still beautiful and will be even more so when the weather is as it should be. After about the first half hour, your vision begins to haze a bit as you are literally lifted into the clouds that surround the towering mountain. And all around you is darkness, the slight staticky rumbles of oncoming thunders. Is there anything you guys would like to say or do before reaching the top?
Yes. Whom do we have?
Yeah, I will say in total the trip's going to take you about an hour.
Alright.
Well, how much room in the cart do we still have?
Between all of you, there's basically just enough room for each of you to like stretch your arms a little bit, but it's basically it's not like there's not exactly room to run around, but there's room to like stretch your arms out, look around, that sort of thing.
Room for one more?
What?
It's going to be a tight squeeze, but in theory.
As we might be going into combat soon, I would like to use one of my, what's it called?
Like saying wild shape, or are you trying to change shape?
Yeah, wild shape, and I'm going to use it to summon my fire spirit friend.
Okay. Now, I will ask, are you sure you want to summon a fire spirit in a silk basket? That is the only thing separating you and your entire party from a 1,000-foot drop down a mountain.
I don't know. Sounds like a good, yeah.
I just realized that. You're right. I'll wait till we get there.
Okay.
You know, some DMs, they would have
Oh my
let
god,
you
it
do
was
that.
Phil.
Yeah, they just would have, been like, okay, you all die.
I'm gonna be real. I was already drawing up a plan for the fall. Just oh shit, he's about to kill you all. I gotta figure a way out of this. But I figured I'd at least give him fair warning.
You were like, oh shit. I don't want to instead of rocks fall, party falls.
Yeah, no. I literally, in the time it took him to finish saying, the moment he said "room for one more," I was like, he's gonna summon the fire spirit. You're all gonna fall to your deaths. I need to figure out where you're gonna land.
How are you going to survive?
Yeah, and is that were you just thinking of how am I going to describe the area that you all splat in?
I'm gonna be real. Some of you may not have survived the fall. I think some of you may have, and then those who survived would just have a new fucking location to get through.
Mm-hmm.
How would you?
That being
How would that have been determined?
I guess I was basically keeping track of where you guys were, relative to my descriptions, and then, the moment he said that, I was like, okay, you guys are about here, so that's a such and such drop, it's gonna do this much damage. If that doesn't kill you, then you can keep going. That being said, in that case, is there anything else that anyone would like to do
just imagine,
during this?
Imagine what they would have looked like for the... could they still see the, basket?
Absolutely not. But given that Lazaro is, maintaining a grip on the rope, it seems like he's waiting for the textile feedback that would indicate you guys have dismounted before they either start pulling it back or just at the very least stop operating.
But eventually they might have seen just a bunch of people falling.
Yeah, it's just how? What happened?
They would suddenly just feel the line just go limp. Like, what?
Yeah, the line just goes completely fucking slack. That'd be terrifying. Anyway.
This is from their perspective. The line goes slack and they just in the distance see these specks falling from the sky.
And fire. But, yes. Paul has something.
Alright, Paul, what would you like to do?
Well, I guess, I don't know if we're standing or sitting, or I don't know where this part...
Oh, it's up to you.
He'll probably be standing. I guess we'll more or less address to Dragon Lady, because I'm not sure if he knows, or more importantly, I forget the name.
Yeah, it's a sorry for your reference, but yes, go ahead.
He will kind of just look at her and so, what do you plan on saying to this dragon?
She kind of brings her, she can shift over and kind of get into a place where, it's easily to, speak to her without, having to, scream over the winds. She kind of gives a deep sigh. Now, DM, we didn't go over exactly what she would know about dragon.
Yeah, well, because I asked you for specifics and you didn't get back to me.
My bad.
Given that's all good. Given what you rolled previously for this question, though, I will keep it on knowledge of what you have of this particular type of dragon. You know that these kind of dragons are typically they go by several names. The simply feathered serpents, the rainbow serpents, or they are known colloquially in some regions as quetzals, seeing as they are essentially mini Quetzalcoatls. You know that they are incredibly communal, although basically, whereas most dragons either do not directly care for their young, or if they do, they typically raise large clusters. Quetzalcoatls generally will have very small clutches, at most 3 to a single brood, and the mother will typically starve themselves taking care of the children. They, of course, will die most of the time, but leave 3 young to take their place, which is what keeps the species going. As such, this turns most of the feathered serpents into a very, very social species, as they are desperately seeking companionship, given that they mostly never knew their parents. You know that many cultures view them as significant to either the weather or the heart. Typically very like natural cosmic forces. And other than that, I'll say that's about most of what you know that would actually be relevant to what you're asking.
Okay. Cool. Sorry, will give a sigh and say, well, this type of creature gives some major feedback.
Don't know whose end that's on. I'll keep go ahead and continue. I'll keep an eye on mics and.
Forgot what I was gonna say. Right. Okay. She will say, luckily for us, these creatures tend to be very communicative. So maybe I can just try to convince them to simply give us the armor and give the captain his bountiful treasure, I guess. I'm not sure what exactly verbatim I'm going to say, but I do have a good feeling about it.
Well, I don't know much about these creatures, but it doesn't sound like it's going to be just like, oh, here, have this. But, again, I don't know much about these creatures, but I was just thinking over a while, and I was wondering, what if we bring it with us?
The dragon?
Yes. Simply think.
They do enjoy the company of others.
Well.
So that may be a way to convince it to release the treasures.
My main thought process is that place.
Meet someone.
It could come with us to protect it with us. Well, frankly, I have no need for the plate, I guess I do, but by itself is, once we're done with using it as like a key, I guess we can just simply give it back. But
so you think that we should just say we wish to borrow it?
I was thinking maybe we wish to, yes, temporarily use it, and I know that obviously trust is not something that could just be gained on the spot, so if you would come with us and watch over it with us, then if that would, ease your mind.
It's worth a shot, my dear paladin.
But all I know is I prefer if it comes down to it, I don't plan on attacking this creature.
Don't wish to attack my kin, but if it forces my hand, I may not have a choice.
Well, I was thinking
Sorry, let me put that on vibrate.
maybe I can distract it while y'all get it.
Alright, cool.
Well,
How do you propose to distract it?
I'm not sure about the beast can, how he does, but I was simply... It seems as though out of all of us, I am probably the most... I'm probably the most well-defended here, so maybe I can withstand its attack while y'all grab it, and then we can run. But
I don't know how comfortable I am leaving you with the dragon to fight.
well, like I said, I don't plan on fighting, just simply holding my ground.
Or I could just scare it and then y'all grab it.
Hmm.
And then nobody gets hurt.
Like I said, I just simply was wondering if you had anything in mind you were going to say, or I think like
I don't know what I'm going to say verbatim, but I do have I suppose you could call it a rough draft in my brain.
I just think like it's here to protect that, so let's have it use that. Let it tell it that you can still protect it, just if you can come with us. That's all I was thinking.
I do think that this is a good idea. Not bad for a human.
Lucian already. Not bad for a human.
I'm just saying, Zephyr and Raccoon, they're not people, they're monsters.
They're literally not people though. Like they're monsters, like technically.
Technically, wouldn't that not
Hang
you?
I gotta switch.
You everywhere.
You're just a bigger version of Zephyr.
Alright.
Thanks, Matthew. You're just gonna
What's
shut
up?
my trick everywhere.
Sorry. Alright.
No, I was just saying it as Lucian, not as sorry.
No, of course, yeah. So, if nobody else has anything, Flower and Fall, you good?
Yes.
Okay. As you guys get hoisted along, about an hour passes. Since you've all gotten a long rest, there's no need to take a short rest, but you guys do get the time to rest your legs and catch your breath, or at least as much as you can. Ivaben, you can almost feel your hair beginning to get staticky from being in these clouds. And Paul and Flower and Fall, it feels freezing.
Also, I just realized
this high up.
we're about to be above the clouds. Doesn't that mean we're going to be in direct sunlight?
Yep.
Oh, it's over. I thought that was like a roof.
Oh boy.
Well, we're not going to be on
Oh
this
wait, is it
basket
cold?
Is it cold, Matthew?
Yeah, I was saying right now it's very cold.
Oh, we didn't hear you.
Cool.
Well,
So,
that
Azaria's gonna look at the others, and she's gonna be like, "Are you guys cold?
yeah.
Are you
that.
cold?"
Well, I mean, yes, it is a little chilly.
We are quite high up.
I would like to. Will you stop doing that?
What am I doing?
It's like connecting and then disconnecting.
I'm trying to charge my phone.
There we go. Anyways, I'm gonna cast a cantrip. I'm gonna cast Frostbite. But I'm gonna do it like in my hand and create like a snowball, if you'll allow that.
Why?
Let me see what frostbite actually does.
I don't understand. You ask, is it cold?
Oh,
And then you do cold.
Well, she might.
It's numbing frost. Yeah. I'm leading to something. Don't worry.
Are you immune to frost damage or just cold damage, or are you just resistant?
I don't think there's any.
That's a good question.
I don't think there's any.
I don't think there's anything. You know what? I don't know.
All right. Well, yeah. If you can't.
Hey, I do have resistance. I have resistance.
Defenses?
I'll say you'll have to cast it twice, and you will take damage, but I'll allow that.
Cool. So she's just gonna make a little snowball in her hand, and she's just gonna say, "The cold doesn't bother me."
She takes damage. The cold doesn't bother me.
Vaven's just looking at them with this incredulous look of just, why did you do that?
Yeah, real quick. Sorry. So it's 1d6, so that's 2d6 halved. So just let me know how much you take for flavor.
6 damage.
So 3.
12, though.
Just 3.
3, okay.
Because I rolled 6. And have to 3.
Well, it's 2d6 because you had to cast it twice.
Just why?
I know. I did 2. I did 2 dice, and they were both the same thing.
Oh, I see. Okay, I see. Okay, I see.
What do you mean? They're both 3?
If they were both
I think
threes,
Matthew understands what I'm trying to say.
No, yeah, I get what you. So yeah, they were both 3. However, as a small addendum, but this is like a variant thing, so I understand. Not basically because this is like basically you targeting yourself. I'm going to rule it as like rounding up here. So you will be taking 4 cold, not 3. But otherwise, that is correct. Yes. Since 3 is an odd number, so you can't perfectly split it in half. So
they both rolled 3. Got a 6, so it rounded down to 3. Right?
Wait, do you have the total or the individual rolls?
Yeah, no, it's like maybe it's because it's essentially 2 separate attacks. I'm ruling it. I was more saying 2d6 just for the total dice roll. But yeah,
so he's saying
basically,
you need to consider them 2 attacks and have them separately.
Yeah, because they were both 3, I'm ruling it that it's a 2 and a 2, which would add up to 4. It's literally just 1 additional damage, so that's why I was just clarifying. Anyway.
Again, Vaven just gives a look and is like, why? Why did you do that?
The cold doesn't bother me.
It
doesn't bother me.
Do you actually ask her this, or...?
Yeah, he's genuinely just giving her this. Just would it be incredulous?
Yeah, incredulous is the word you're looking for, I think.
Just an incredulous look of just, why did you do that? What? Why did you use a spell?
Just kind of shrugs and says, "I wanted to make a joke, and also it was a cantrip, so it didn't cost me anything."
Sorry, as you say this, and you, I'm assuming, just kind of drop the snowball over the side of the basket or just let it melt away. Yeah. Your fingers are very sore. Not quite frostbitten, but incredibly sore.
Yeah, the cold doesn't bother me. Tries to act off.
I think give her disadvantage to aim physical weapons.
I'm not
going to go that far since she didn't actually get frostbite, but...
It's just
Also, as a side note, before I continue, in reference to earlier, yeah, no, like I had mentioned offhandedly that like it was cold, but I was like saying that just before other people started talking, so it's understandable that it may have been missed. I just wanted to clarify that I wasn't like being angry whenever I was like, no, I fucking said it was cold. Just wanted to clarify that since you brought it up, Ivan. Anyway.
God, I swear to God, I just get on a character. I don't even need to be on the character's wavelength to be like, what the fuck was that?
Eventually, however, sorry to your displeasure, but the rest of you's various reactions, the cold begins to slip away, as does the static, and as does the darkness, with a final distant rumble of thunder. So you imagine that the weather below you is about to turn. You are lifted from the clouds, almost with this like divine flying feeling. And Ivabin, your eyes instantly dilate painfully as you are, for the first time since coming here, exposed to direct sunlight.
So now I have disadvantage on literally everything.
And not just Ivabin, though, all of you actually have to like blink and adjust your eyes. Not just because of the sudden exposure, but Paul, as you kind of squint and hold a hand over your face to look up, you can see above all of this, there's actually not a cloud in the sky. Almost as if all the clouds were ripped from the sky and made to orbit the volcano. And looking down, you indeed can see that stretching as far as the eye can see below you in all directions is this veritable sea of clouds. Dark and stormy. You can see
like
to the north...
hurricane.
Yeah, you can see to the north there's the flashes of lightning, and what appears to be a blizzard back in Lake Onice. And the clouds have this it's almost like you're witnessing the aggravated swirling of a beehive. And directly ahead of you, you see the feathered serpent pyramid. You see this.
I'm gonna ask the captain. Is the beast just inside?
The captain's gone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he never came with. He left us after he told us the weakness and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Stretching out ahead of you, you see rocks that have been so deeply stained by volcanic ash so as to be completely pitch black. This stretches out for a decent distance. Although, to your surprise, you can actually see some plants just clinging desperately to life up here. You imagine these plants have...
moss?
Yeah, moss! You can see another tower matching the one down in the plains, although rather than damaged by weather, this one is simply caked in ash, although appears otherwise completely unharmed, which you are currently being elevated towards. As your elevation takes you over the lip of the mountain, Flower and Fall, you kind of lean over Paul's shoulders incredulously, as you can see surrounding the pyramid is this massive lake of lava in the volcano below. This massive pillar of stone keeping the pyramid elevated and out of it. And the only thing that appears to be connecting the pyramid to the mainland is a simple bridge. Stone, thankfully, rather than wood.
Yeah, it's not just one of those. It's not like that scene from fucking Shrek.
Yeah. The pyramid itself is massive.
Tribute to this dragon.
Easily stretching hundreds of feet into the
We just
sky
need
by
Greylog
itself.
to turn into a fucking donkey.
Yeah. This pyramid is massive and covered in carved symbols. At the very, very top, you can see a structure that almost resembles a bell tower. And even from down here, you can hear something. This constant droning whistle, the sound of wind traveling through a very specific shape. Whatever this is the eye of the storm, as it were.
So
Across the bridge.
Question.
What's up?
Okay. So is it in Draconic? Second question. Does this look like? Can you hear me at all?
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm just waiting for you to finish.
Okay. Jeremy said he couldn't hear me, so.
You're kind of spotty, but I think we were getting the gist.
Is it in Draconic? I forgot the last question because I've lost track of my mind. But those are the two important questions.
Yeah, or one rather, but yeah, it's all good. And no.
Is it in Draconic? And I remember the second question was, does this look like anything I might have seen in a drawing or a painting or anything in my study?
Make a history check for that. I will say you cannot tell for sure. You guys are still a bit of a distance away, but at this distance, they don't appear to be draconic, as far as you can tell.
All right. Well, as soon as we get close, I'd like to see if I can read the runes.
Sure. And go and roll history.
And so basically it is just like a giant hurricane over the entire continent.
Essentially, yeah, just with the... as if like every section of the hurricane was a completely different type of weather.
I mean, there's been blizzard hurricanes.
I'm 24.
Well, no, I more mean like, as far as I'm aware, at least I'm not an astronomer, but I'm assuming it's not normal to have a hurricane, a blizzard, a sandstorm, a tornado, and then completely clear weather, like all in the same day.
I mean...
I don't know. I'm thinking New Jersey, maybe? I don't know.
Well, this place seems perfect. What's the catch?
I
Well, technically we are in New Jersey. Not one place even remotely livable. Yeah, sorry, Evan, go ahead.
I was going to say, well, technically I have heard of hurricanes spawning tornadoes. And there have been blizzards
fair, but...
before. I guess
yeah, so we're just missing the sandstorm and the clear skies.
I guess like on a particularly cold day in Australia or something.
But yes,
Alright, so
and
my history check was a 24.
You do recognize, or at least this design. This design is actually somewhat standard in a sense. You know that this is the temples that Quetzalcoatl's normal devotees build in their honor. It's almost an exact replica. You wouldn't be surprised if you discovered that they had literally just like plucked this pyramid and then dropped it here.
He is the guy who can probably do that.
Yeah. So, yep, as far as you can tell, it's a typical feathered serpent pyramid, which is built in Quetzalcoatl's honor by his worshippers. You don't know the straight, like, you basically don't have the blueprints memorized, and even if you did, you wouldn't know if that would apply here. But yes, you know that this is a basically type of temple that is built in honor of Quetzalcoatl specifically.
That's fair. Question. Since I would know, like, the general layout would I know, like, is there like a worship room or like?
Well, like I said, you don't know what the internals
Mind.
are like. You don't have like the blueprints of these temples memorized. And again, even if you did, you wouldn't know if that would apply here. I'm just saying that you do know that that is what this is.
Okay, I was just asking because you said it kind of looked generic, so I'm just wondering if she knows like the generic makeup of a generic temple.
Well, I'm basically, I'm more saying that, like, practically speaking, I don't think Asari would be capable of, like, pulling that out of a hat, essentially. But I am giving you that you know that it's a Quetzalcoatl temple. But I'm going to say no, you do not have the internal layout just memorized off the cuff.
You don't have keen mind with this character.
And even if you did, keen mind only lasts you a month.
Yeah, even then, it's just only certain parts.
Unless you write it down like I've been doing.
Well, it's still only a month.
Anyway.
You just have to read the books once a month or so.
Yeah.
And
Just
then
to refresh. Anyway.
You think that's more
and then burn those books.
As you guys are pulled closer to the ash-stained tower, you can feel the intense heat of the volcano. And you can see steam rise from the volcanic pit, hover over the bell tower of this temple, and you kind of squinting a bit as your eyes try desperately to adjust for this unobstructed of sunlight as the steam is sucked towards the bell tower. You hear that droning, whistling sound again, and the wind is dispersed, and you can actually feel it ruffle you guys' hair as it goes past you, the basket kind of tilting slightly, and down into the storms below. It is intensely hot, blindingly bright, and the whole place smells of sulfur and brimstone. The basket finally comes to a stop at the top of the soot-stained tower, and you can feel some tugs on the rope, presumably them on the other side, like making sure you guys actually reach the end before the mechanisms stop. And you guys can leave the basket if you wish.
Nah, I think we'll just ride back down. I mean, it's not like we came up here for a reason.
Hey, one can be like, you know what, let's just...
Yeah, I've had parties do things like that, so I always make sure to present the option.
You've actually had a party get to the place they were trying to go and just be like, nah.
Nah, 'tis a silly place. Alright.
Is that your Friday group?
I live for the day.
I'm not going to say who it was. And bear in mind, this isn't even a criticism, it's more of an observation. But I'm not going to say who it was, because that's not my style.
You know you want to.
I don't. As you guys
to the dark side,
open the door and hop your way onto the tower, Paul, I'm assuming exiting one of the earliest.
I mean, he'll probably make sure everyone gets off first, like, safely.
Okay. In that case, Asari, as you hop down and you can feel your hands like burning as their previous cold gives way to burning heat. All of you are already starting to sweat. And Asari, looking down at your feet, you can actually see that you leave visible prints everywhere you walk, simply because of the soot and ash that clings to your boots gets dragged away from where it had been resting.
Do Dragonborn wear
Here's a
boots?
point of here's a little point of interest, Matthew. Asari's not wearing boots. She's not wearing shoes at all.
Well, just feet then.
Yes.
Yeah, your little,
The claws.
you got sootsies on your tootsies.
That's been your word of the day today is tootsies.
Yeah.
You need like a tootsie
all right.
roll.
I do like Tootsie Rolls. Anyway,
So
as you guys, one by one, hop off of the basket, you find yourselves overlooking the rocky fields that sit before you. And from your elevated position on the tower, you all can get a better look at the pyramid itself. The pyramid is constructed out of what appears to have once been a brilliant coral material, but has since been soot-stained and ashened to have this just dirtied, bleached white look to it. And a brilliant, colorful set of massive double doors, almost like the grand entrance hall of a palace, sit at the front across the bridge. And above that door, you can see a massive window. Like, you guys think if you were to get up to the window, like, 3 of you could stand arm to arm and still be standing comfortably on that windowsill. It's huge. And you guys aren't even at the temple yet and already find yourselves feeling kind of small. Ivabin, as you kind of look down to trace... well, again, you're not at the temple yet. You're not near enough to read anything.
Okay.
Ivabin, as you turn your attention downwards, trying to force your eyes to adjust and tracing the path you'll need to take, you may not have the greatest perception in sunlight, but you are perceptive enough to notice something that you can point out to the others. The stone bridge that is the only connection to cross this lava moat and get to the temple appears to be destroyed.
Raven's gonna be like, well, that's not good. The bridge is destroyed. So unless Asari is going to sprout wings and fly.
She kind of gives a wry chuckle. If only it's were that easy.
Okay. I don't have anything I can do.
What's up?
I'm trying to think what I can do.
Are there like any beasts that could withstand the heat of a volcano or lava?
That you have?
Not at your level, there's not.
That you have access to?
He
hey,
said, not at your level, there's not.
Are there any is there any like rubble or anything that maybe like I could like maybe make a bridge?
I'd be curious.
You have the power of alchemy.
Okay, well,
No.
okay, I'll say. Do you...
Like if there's like a random like little tiny island or something, I can like magic missile it and maybe make a moat that way. I don't know, not a moat but a bridge.
Okay, well, I'll say to A, clear up any confusion, and B, since everyone seems chomping at the bit to have it but not to go get it, do you guys want to walk up to where the bridge is at some point?
I do.
But you
I
said
do.
Oh, I thought we were moving at this point.
I'll go.
Alright. And, yeah, by the way, just double checked for your benefit, Greylog. Yeah, no, there is definitely no beasts. There's actually not any, as far as I can tell. Maybe my Googling skills have been outwitted this time, but as far as I can tell, at least on D&D Beyond, yeah, there's just straight up no beasts, period, that would get you through lava.
Could I create a flying,
I don't think you can turn into anything that's flying at this level.
Yeah.
No, not turn into. Create.
Do you
Could I
have a spell that would serve as means to do that?
summon beasts?
Does that let you summon something that flies?
Sorry. Let me see.
It says bestial spirit. I can summon flyby, which are air only. Tactics or water breathing. I would like to do a flyby.
All right, I'll say as long as you have the material components to cast this, then sure.
Do you have the components for it? What do you need for it?
You need a feather, a tuft of fur, and a fishtail inside of a gilded acorn worth at least 200 gold. And because it states a specific value, you do need that material component to cast it, even if you have.
Yeah.
Could I just sacrifice 200 gold?
No.
If only
No, you had to get it before him. I had the same problem with Taro.
Alright, I'll assume. Alright.
So, Matthew, could I float across? Would it be worth my time to float across?
fly.
Here. To make it a little easier on you, I'll descending down the tower, the inside, thankfully free of the worst of the outside, and the door thankfully unlocked, as it seems like if they thought to lock up, they probably didn't figure that thieves would come up this far. You all begin to cross the rocky plain that separates you from the pyramid, working your way closer. It's not a far walk, although your progress is slowed by having to kind of unevenly find your way, as, again, it's very rocky and uneven, and you don't feel like this whole thing's going to give way, but some of you just instinctually don't want to, jump around and slide on the off chance you somehow Rube Goldberg machine down into the lava pit. And it doesn't take long. As you guys approach what's left of the stone bridge, you can see tall stone pillars that seemingly marked where they once were. Or rather, where the bridge had once connected. And you can even see some rubble of where whatever collapsed this bridge did it. But Asari kind of peering your head down. It's a far drop into the lava below, but you don't see any sign of the bridge itself. Looking across Flower and Fall, it appears to be about a 50-foot gap. If you had a piece of rope with you, you definitely think the stone pillars could support you guys' weight. You would just need at least one person on the other side to tie the rope off.
Question.
What's up?
Can Grillog reach out and make sure that this isn't just a fancy illusion?
Sure. Make an investigation check.
I like how he makes him roll to reach his arm out.
Well, no, you actually do have to roll. Like, even if you do that, you have to roll to see if you figure out that it's not an illusion just from that.
The 5?
Roll to stick. Greylog fails to stick his arm out and loses his balance and falls into the fucking lava.
New character. What'd you roll, Greylog?
5.
That's
So,
why I
four.
made that joke.
Greylog, you bend down onto your knees, staining your bottom half with ash, and reach your hand out and start kind of waving it where the rubble cuts off. As far as you can tell, there's definitely nothing there.
Hello, what are you doing?
Making sure it's not an illusion.
Can I try?
Make an investigation check.
Sorry, rolls a 1. Fails to stick their arm out and they lose their balance and fall into the lava. Roll new character.
No, not quite. You said... So, 16.
Asari, you do the same. Carefully sticking your arm out, not wanting to chance your leg and losing your balance. No,
I like
there doesn't
how he
appear to be anything there.
mentioned it. He mentioned that it was a possibility.
I'm satisfied.
Alright. But yeah, so, from the looks of it, but with what rubble of the stone is left, it's about a 40-foot jump in total, but the bridge length in total is about 50 feet. Flower and Fall, I believe, as long as you dash, you can definitely make the jump. And if you were to have a rope, again, you could tie it off on one side.
Are you implying that they were going to tightrope
I have a rope.
over the lava?
Well, I was thinking more like just doing that, like
Holding
basically
on to
clinging to it.
Yeah.
like doing the cat crawl, basically.
What would we roll for that?
I'm gonna say since you're not in a hurry, I actually won't make you roll. I would only make you roll if you were in, like, basically if you were trying to get away from monsters or something.
Okay, because I'm pretty sure, like, Avaven just has disadvantage on even
No,
breathing.
No, it's only on, like, sight-based things.
Yeah, perception and attacks. That's it. Well, yeah.
Yeah, everything else you're fine.
Okay. I always understood as he has disadvantage on fucking everything.
No.
He has disadvantage on the stuff that matters to you.
Yeah, just attacking and perception. So, which could be a lot, but so in combat, you're not going to be, crazy useful in sunlight.
Yeah, like we got to see badass Avaven. Now we're gonna see suck ass Avaven.
Wimpy boy.
Wimpy. Yeah, so
boy.
what do you guys want to do?
Where he can't hit anything and he's always just fucking up.
I have a rope, so I'll give my rope. I'll tie it off. Well, does anybody know how to tie properly?
Would Avaven know how to
I don't
tie a
want
rope?
to,
I would imagine
easily.
so.
That one's more up to you.
I'd
Yeah.
imagine so. He's probably tied more than his hands on ropes. Avaven, like,
Yeah.
I can do it. And
All right, and I'll
tie
say-
the rope.
All right, easily done. I'll say for fun, make me a. I'm just gonna call this a general dexterity check.
Okay. I dropped my dice. And it's dark. There you go. Grab it with my foot. Because that's easier than bending over.
You get that?
Yeah, I've been there.
That's going to be a 12 in total.
All right. Ivaben, you and Asari get a rope tied around the pillar on your side. I will say you'll likely need 2 lengths of 50 foot, unless Asari's is longer than that, to actually tie them off and get all the way across. But most of you guys should have started off with some rope in your inventory.
Yeah,
So
Vaven has
just
a
you know,
set of
basically.
rope as well. But can we just talk about
Yeah,
how
so do you wanna
unsound that is?
Having 2 ropes tied together, trying to hang on it.
Yes.
I mean,
Because
Well,
like, the weight.
it's either that or you guys gotta.
I mean,
How many golden acorns?
I guess if Aben will try to tightly tie the second
baby.
set of rope onto it.
Alright.
Like, it's gonna secure that motherfucker.
Yeah, sure. I'll say if you're willing to take some extra time, roll me dexterity again with advantage.
Okay. This gotta be another 12.
Okay. In the meantime, Paul, what are you doing?
I've been trying to think like what could do. Now, this may be a silly question because obviously it's true, but could bucket withstand lava?
Obviously, yes, but the thing is, the lava's really far down there. It's, like, Bucket could easily survive it, as Bucket can survive anything, but
also-
the problem is
Also,
just that it'd
molten
probably
rock
take a
is
lot
lower
longer.
temperature than steel is. Like a steel in a volcano would just be perfectly fine. I mean, it would be hot as fuck, but it's not hot enough. Like, molten rock is not hot enough to melt steel.
Yeah. So,
Lava does not melt steel
probably,
beams.
but
I don't think
you're not certain. You're not certain that it would be practical to use the bucket here. Is the only thing.
Is he gonna use the bucket to somehow, like, impress the serpent?
I mean, maybe.
He very well might.
Hey, I calmed down.
I swear to God, he is literally going. We're going to like have to get the final boss down to like 1 hit point, and then
just knock his ass out with the bucket.
I don't need. Yeah.
how much can you do with an unarmed? Wait, would it be unarmed strike or would it be an improvised weapon?
This would be improvised.
Improvise because unarmed would just be your fist.
You've got to
Yeah.
get like a feat that gives you like
Yeah, Tavern Brawler or something. Anyways, anything else from you, Paul? Or?
Yeah, he has no. He at this moment has no clue what to do to solve this situation.
All right, Flower and Fall. Do you? Ivan seems to have secured the rope as best he can. Do you want to fly it to the other side?
Yes, yes.
All right. Asari, as you and Ivabin secure the rope, attaching Ivabin's own length of rope to yours, Greylog sorting through your spell components to see if you have any alternative routes in case this doesn't work, and Paul just staring down at the lava, contemplating whether your bucket could survive its exposure to it in case you fall. Flower, you, I'm assuming you and Fall both, take the length of rope from Ivabin, and I can't call it a running start, but kind of perching on Paul's shoulder to give yourself a sort of platform to leap off of. Like the great pterosaurs you had seen in the Sea of Kinneret, you both take off with the rope stretched between the two of you and begin to rapidly dart across the lava pit, as pixies are more made for hovering than outright, like, extended flight, and you can already feel yourself beginning to sink. But you manage to reach the other side, kind of almost falling to the ground before, like, beating your wings hard to stay up in the air, especially with the rope weighing you down. And if you like, you can tighten it on this end, and that'll provide the party with a way to get over here.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to make us roll, right?
At least it.
Unless you try to hurry for the crossing, no. Like, remember what I did whenever you guys were crossing the Sea of Ice in Edict? Like, basically, Zephyr had to roll because he was going fast, but the rest of you, I think I either just straight didn't make you at all, or if I did, I let you have advantage because you were going slow. because you're taking your time. So the main reason you have to roll for things in D&D is because you're either hurrying or you only have one chance, so you can't afford a mistake.
Yeah.
And that isn't it's just difficult, but we're like death here.
Yeah. Basically, I personally DM on the principle that if you have infinite time, you'll likely be able to do it, unless it's just straight impossible for you to do, basically. Or you would need some kind... Anyways, it's not important. So yes, no, assuming you go slow and nothing's forcing you to speed up, you will not have to roll for crossing.
Alright.
Flower and Fall, would you like to tighten the length of rope, or do you have another plan?
No, I'm really here to tighten the rope.
Alright. Go ahead and make me a dexterity check.
If they fail, it like falls into the lava.
That would be so fucking sad.
Well, it's already secured on one end, so just the end of it would fall in the lava, but then it'd be too short.
Yeah.
Actually, it's such a far drop, you actually wouldn't, like the rope would just be dangling.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So,
I thought it would just burn up.
Nah. The lava's like pretty far down. Because if it was closer to you, you guys would be dead. It's like several hundred feet down. It's just
what's the
visible.
rope look?
Make a perception check.
Okay.
And Flower and Fall.
It is an extreme
I gotta
heat, and it is burnable.
Sorry, one more time, Flower Fall.
A 16.
Alright, got it.
Switch us over to the... Oh shit. I forgot to switch us over to the fucking regular screen. We've been on starting soon the whole time.
Oh, well, shit.
Nobody told me anything.
I thought you were watching it.
I am watching it. I just didn't take it in. I just didn't acknowledge that was the problem.
Yeah, I'm not mad at you. I was just more like I was more just like wrapping my head around it. I'm sorry. Didn't mean to yell at you.
No, it's fine.
Alright, and Greylog perception?
23.
Alright. Looking at the rope, thankfully it actually does seem to be holding up. It's because it is really hot, but heat alone isn't going to be enough to destroy this. Your biggest concern would be your biggest concern would be like direct flames getting to it, but at this height, it seems like most of what you're getting exposed to is just ash and soot.
I feel like adding water would be worse.
Yeah.
Well, they could have dampened it before, and then it would have dripped a little bit, and then it would have probably been okay.
Alright, Flower and Fall, you secure the knot on your side, and you're pretty confident it's secure.
I don't like the way you said
you guys.
I mean,
you guys have a way to cross if you so wish.
Alrighty then.
I do so bit.
What?
What? You were cutting out.
They're saying they do so wish, so I'm guessing.
He said if we wish,
yeah.
and I said I do so wish.
Alright. Asari, you hop up a bit to get a grip, wrap your legs around, and start kind of monkeying your way
And
over the
my
lava pit. Yeah, and your tail for extra security.
But Matthew, they're a
And-
reptile.
Mm-hmm.
Why would they be monkeying their way across?
Oh.
Wouldn't they be like, I don't know, fucking
Doing it.
No, a chameleon.
Yeah, fucking chameleoning across. Or geckoing.
So, Asari monkeys their way across. Using your tail.
Reptile!
You're using your tail to provide you with extra security. It's nerve-wracking, as you're tough, but you're not surviving a 300-foot drop into a boiling lake of lava tough.
You just talk about like how terrifying this is. Okay, maybe Austin, because Austin doesn't get phased by anything, but I don't think any of us would be able to do something like this.
I mean,
That's the beauty of tabletop games.
I say I wouldn't be phased with that. I'd be like, that's something. And then,
Yeah, just slip up once, I'm dead.
it would depend on the situation.
Yeah. Sorry.
When you need to be a perfectionist.
Following your instincts and not looking down, you slowly worm your way to the other side, and
I imagine that
with shaking arms and legs.
Rope like dips pretty heavily.
No, it does. I was going to mention that. Like with Asari's bulk, the rope does dip heavily. And Asari, if you find yourself, especially when you reach the midpoint where Ivaben's not, that connects his rope with yours meets, you're sincerely worried that your weight alone is going to, like, cut the knot. So you just keep your grip tight on the ropes. But you do manage to reach the other side where Flower and Fall are with shaking arms and legs.
Yeah, I'm just like, she's trying to be cool, but she's a little shaky.
Who would like to go next?
I guess. Oh.
I mean, you can both go if you want.
Yeah, just put 2 weight sources on the fucking rope at once.
They handled Asari. Apparently, Asari's like more weight than a lot of us.
I'm 375 pounds. I
How
weigh
much
more
is-
than all of you.
How much is Greylog?
I mean, he could be a small creature.
Hang on, I forget.
He could just be. He just have to use one of his wild shapes.
I mean, I know it's magic, but like,
20.
does magic like change the weight of things whenever they transform? Like,
I believe so.
Yeah, you're
become his.
yeah, your your equipment.
Magic can cause the loss of mass, apparently.
I mean, yeah, it is magic, so.
Magic can destroy matter.
Well,
Yeah. Yeah, there is
And then
Goodberry, which
create.
literally just creates food.
And then create matter.
I'm about 80 pounds.
Well, if it can handle a sorry, it could probably
I am
handle
a small
both of them.
boy.
I love to imagine the two of you just running these calculations before climbing up to it.
I mean, like, if like this ever like gets watched by more than like 2 people, and then somebody makes an animated version, you know that's what they're gonna put.
Of course, yeah. Alright, well, if the two of you want to cross together, you may. Paul, you watch as Avaben and Greylog scale to where the rope is, and who wants to go first?
Avaben's gonna be like, go ahead, be my guest.
Greylog, Avaben agreeing with your enthusiasm. You
Rope up there like a light rope.
Are you sure you want to do that?
Jeremy,
The look,
Jeremy,
the
let me
look.
remind you that molten lava.
Yeah, like magic.
Yeah, no,
I'm just
I'm going to be real with you, Jeremy. You are asking me, DM, do you want to make me roll to potentially fall to my immediate instantaneous death versus I would like to essentially crawl across with, if not no issue, at the very... Because even if the rope, like, does give out, you'll just fall to one side or the other and have to tie the rope back up. Like, oh well, big whoop. This, you're asking me if you want to... You're asking for my permission to have a dice roll's chance of instantly killing you.
Okay, like, can he maybe roll the dice and see what it is before you...
No, I'm not going to allow that. I'm generous, but I'm not that generous.
Okay. Do you have
Greylog, how are you going to do
inspiration.
this?
I'm just gonna go. I'm just gonna regularly go.
Alright.
Yeah, that's
There's one-
probably
But
for
I'm
the
still gonna
best.
roll just to see.
He wants to roll just to see what he would have got.
Well,
Yeah. So what would you have made me roll?
I would have called it an athletics or acrobatics check, your choice.
probably not very good.
It's been okay. Would have been a 18.
Alright.
But
Greylog, you start to scale the rope. And for a moment, the thought crosses your mind of walking it like a tightrope, but as your vision of the rocky crag below you gives way to the lake of lava 400 feet down, you think better of it and tighten your grip on the rope and start continuing to shimmy.
Are you like... Do you have like a method of testing if the rope's going to fail, Matthew?
Maybe.
Are you like rolling dice over there to see if the rope's gonna fail?
Quite possibly.
well, I guess
Then you grab onto the rope and start following after Greylog.
This is why adventurers have a very short average existence.
Yeah.
Because they do stupid shit like this.
Yeah, I mean, if you didn't want to fucking get it, sometimes you gotta crack some eggs to make a treasure omelet.
or you know, be like, haha, I did this because.
Or they'll be like the ones who are like Greylog, and they're like, "Oh, watch, guys! I'm gonna show off by tight roping across it." Ah!
Oh God, why'd I do that?
Maybe he had not
It's probably a very common last words of adventurers. Why did I do that?
Yeah, or hold my beer, hold my ale.
Hold my wine.
All right, Greylog, I've been nervously following behind. You both make it.
He is
Cautiously
rolling
climbing
dice.
down and cautiously finding your footing. You
Side. And I scare Iverson. Be like, oh my
Please.
God, don't do that!
Cut.
are you sure you want to do that?
I swear to God, Jeremy, I will literally never play with you again if you kill me right now.
Leave him alone.
This is like after he gets off the rope.
Safely. I mean,
And he's got firm footing.
Look, man, I'm telling you,
Like,
like,
I'm
fucking
almost-
disadvantage or not,
Do that,
an arrow
Jeremy.
is going to find its way in you.
Jeremy.
He's nice.
I mean,
All right,
Good boy.
Paul, you are the last one remaining.
With all your heavy armor. I can't imagine what it's like to be wearing plate armor
I guess
in this kind of environment.
being as the party. Yeah, I do have heavy armor, but you know, there's
Like,
place
his
only
hands are
slightly
probably
under-
sweaty, don't you think, Matthew?
you know, only slightly under the Dragonborn's weight.
Matthew?
Paul,
Hello?
I guess
Can you
yeah,
hear
he will carefully and you know cautiously crawl or however he needs to do this. He's just like, yeah.
Can
I
you hear
don't
me
know
now?
about this.
yeah,
Oh, yep.
Paul, a little more confidently than the others, but
His
still cautiously.
hands are probably sweaty, don't you think, Matthew?
Oh yeah. You hop your way up, grab on, wrap your legs around, and start shimmying. All of you on the other side watch with bated breath as Paul starts making his way across.
I don't like the way you're saying this, Matthew.
I mean, I thought he was gonna kill me.
That's what you think.
The rope begins to dip as you make it to the midway point where Ivaben's knot tying roll of 12 is the only thing separating you from the lava below.
He's rolling a dice against that 12, isn't he?
You scale your way over. Start working your way up.
God damn it, Matthew.
And the lava gives way to rocky, solid footing as you make it safely to the other side.
I fucking hate you, Matthew, the way you did that whole section. Like, at any moment something was going to fucking happen.
I figured he wasn't gonna do much.
I gotta keep you in suspense.
Yeah.
I fucking hate you.
Very like cutting the rope.
That is rude, sir.
It's not a proper D&D session if the players don't hate the DM a little bit.
Are you actually gonna cut the rope?
Matthew knows I am speaking in jest.
No, I'm
Of
not.
course. Well, I do now. Anyway.
It was joking.
Like Matthew knows me. And he
I need to get out of
He
here.
knows I joke like that.
Of course. And also Austin, maybe.
Maybe what?
You asked if I was actually going to do it.
Well,
Okay, I gotta know, Matthew. Were
possibly.
you rolling dice against the 12?
No, I just wanted to scare you guys.
I was like, I can see you maybe doing it, but that would have been safe, like holding the rope just on the other side. I would have to.
No, yeah, I was going to say, with the way you guys had set this up, there was literally, like, no, unless, again, you were going fast, so you could have slipped and lost your grip, there was basically no scenario where you guys fell here, because you're taking your time, you're going slow, and you're maintaining a firm grip at all times. So even if one end of the rope or even the midway point gave out, you would just be clinging to one side as you fell to the other. And again, the rope doesn't go down far enough to slide you into the lava doing that. So, worst case scenario, you would have just had to repeat the climb. Now, if you'd been going fast, like running from a monster and going fast, then yes, you absolutely could have fallen to your death.
So you were just fucking with us the whole time.
Yes.
Pretty much, really.
God damn it, Matthew. You're a fucking ass.
But you are now all safely on the other side and officially on the grounds of the Feathered Serpent Pyramid.
And that is where we're going to end, no.
No.
No, we still got like an hour.
Looking up, I've been squinting against the sunlight. This close up, again, this temple is massive. You feel so puny at its direct foot. The massive doors with all sorts of beautiful imagery carved into them. Up this close, you can see now two intertwined winged serpents coiled around each other, acting as almost a coat of arms to this temple, or perhaps a warning to those stepping within. The massive whistling tower is far
Is there anything
above you.
iconic?
Looking around, Asari, make me an investigation check.
Rolls a 1, slips a fall.
It's like, is there any writing in general?
That's cop. Hang on, I gotta move something because it says cop. There we go.
Is there any writing in general?
You said investigate.
Mm-hmm. And sorry, make that investigation with advantage.
Oh, wow. Okay, I rolled a 17 and an 18, so 21.
Okay. Greylog, you and Asari Huh?
I was just making a joke. Sorry.
No. No, you're fine. The two of you go to check the surrounding immediate area to look for writings. In the meantime, what are the rest of you doing?
Well, trying to think if I can even use that here.
What's up?
I could assume that the place where Vaven's from probably doesn't get a lot of. Does it get a lot of heat there?
It gets pretty. It gets pretty hot, but not more. At best, it's tropical, not like this.
Yeah.
But it's like he's not completely unused to heat in of itself.
Yeah. Basically, you're not like you're not going from like a cold region. Where you're from, it basically cycles between harsh summers and deep winters. So you're familiar with intense heat. It's just this is like this is a whole other. Yeah.
I was about to say, like, I was thinking, like, so Texas, but I was like, wait, we don't get winters.
Yeah.
I mean, we get occasional winters.
Occasional. Winters
Yeah.
is it's kind of chilly.
Those brief licks of habitable weather.
We get winter occasionally, and on those occasions, the whole fucking state shuts down.
Yeah. So do the three of you want to do anything, or are you just going to wait for Asari and Greylog?
I mean, look at I guess, just to pass the time.
We'll look at what, sorry?
Just kind of look over, like, the door while he's waiting for these two jackasses.
Alright. Paul?
Well, that wouldn't work here, so...
Who you messaging, Matthew?
Sorry, I normally mute whenever I just had to tippity type real quick. In the meantime, Flower and Fall, what are you doing while Paul decides?
They will be taking a vested interest in the scales on Asari.
Beat them up.
Alright.
As you look at her scales, they're almost pearlescent.
Alright. And Paul, what are you doing?
So I would like to proceed. So we're outside the temple, basically.
Yes. You have not walked in yet. A massive set of double doors stands looming over you. There is a massive window over those, and the temple itself is a pyramid that seems to go several hundred feet high. It has that kind of stepped look to it. Like, it's huge, so this wouldn't really be practical, but you estimate if you had an ability to scale walls, you could probably just climb the temple yourself. Again, as far none of you really have a convenient way to get all of you up there, so you imagine going through the temple, as there's clearly a tower up there, would be the best bet.
I'm sorry to interrupt again, but I just had a funny thought.
What's that?
It has a window, and I'm like, yes, perfect for licking. Like a window licker.
Yeah.
I've heard that term before.
It's been a while, but yeah.
Like, maybe it sounds kind of familiar, but anyway, I guess I would like to open the door if I can.
Alright, we'll come back to you.
Open the doors. Did the Quetzalcoatls dig too deep?
Flowerfall, you... Oh. Alright, well, they have to be herbs, so we'll come back to them.
Like a bird for burp.
Flower and Fall, you kind of linger and watch, Asari and Greylog investigate the outskirts of the temple for potential writings and runes. But Paul, in the meanwhile, you are interested in just getting inside. And Aveben, as you kind of squinting look over the door, you don't see too much. The artistic design is pretty nice, whatever difference that makes to you. But I will say one thought does begin to occur to you as Paul starts to push against the door. This door is huge, as is the window. And while you can understand some level of, like, design elegance, it almost gives you the sensation that this door was not designed with the intent of people coming through. It's just too big, too heavy. The window, not only because the window, you would expect a window that large to have some form of decorative stained glass, but it doesn't. It's just wide open. So, given that you know what lives here, you get the impression this temple was designed for the guardian of it, rather than any potential worshippers. Paul, make me a strength check.
Gotta roll strength just to see if you can open a door, and you probably got a nat 20 to open the door.
Why is he opening the door? I thought Asari was in front of it.
Well, no, you said you're looking for writings and stuff, and Paul and Ivabin are just focusing on the door.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, hey, you know what, Hunter?
Did you roll a nat 20?
Yeah, nat 20, so 22.
Hell, alright. Paul, you step forward, rub your hands together, and sweating, inhaling brimstone, you give a heave, and I've been just as the thought occurs to you, like, this place was made for dragons. You may not even be able to open the door. Paul pushes forward with all of his might, and the massive stone doors begin to fall open.
I've been just looking at Paul as he's doing this.
Yeah, just like, relish in my muscles.
And, Asari, Greylog, and Flower and Fall. The three of you doing a kind of cursory scan of the surroundings as Paul and Ivabin stand at the door getting it open.
Studying their scales.
Yeah, so I'm assuming that they're just focusing on them. Asari, you do see not writing in any language any of you can identify at the very least. But
Is she one of my foreign languages?
Nope. The best way I can describe what you're looking at is this series of bumps and dots going over the walls. They appear to be organized in some way, but you can't identify the like what it actually is. So there's a structure, a linguistic structure to it. You just can't identify it. But other than that, the temple is decorated lavishly. Anywhere that there are not these bumps and pockmarks in the form of some kind of writing, you can see beautiful depictions of a trio of feathered serpents. Almost all of the imagery you see carved. You don't know, but like from the from the images you can see carved into the temple walls.
I said this storm ain't shit.
from the carvings you're seeing, yeah, you see that there's always 3 being depicted, including on the door that Ivabin was looking at, as it's 2 coiled around each other, but on closer inspection, a 3rd one wrapping around the outskirts of the door, surrounding the 2.
I hope they're all squid frogs.
It may be more difficult to convince them to come with us if they are not already alone.
So we kill 2 and have the other one come.
Greylock, that's terrible.
That is like Gil logic.
It is.
Anything else from the 3 of you, or do you want to head inside?
Then
Yeah,
notice
I'll
Paul
head
pushing
inside,
open
since,
these massive fucking doors.
Yeah, easily. Alright. Ivabin, you good to head in as well?
Yeah.
Okay. As you all watch as Paul's incredible push forces the doors to open at their widest, you all ready your weapons, your magical focuses, and begin to make your way inside, knowing now from Asari's observations that, as they had talked about it, so the rest of you could overhear this as well, that there may be 3 serpents rather than just 1, as you had been told.
We go in. I want to summon my wildfire friend.
Alright, go for it. Do you want to flavor how this looks?
Fucking advantage in this environment.
As I want to pull out this, like a little bit of black powder, throw it on the ground, and it ignites, and then out of the smoke comes an identical person just like me.
But on fire.
Alright.
Yeah, but on fire.
Alright. You summon this burning simulacrum, who gives you a friendly smile and tilt of the head, and unless you have different instructions, accompanies you inside. Between the sunlight streaming through...
Well, I was saying that's what I was going to have it do.
Okay. Between the sunlight streaming through the open doors, through the massive window above them, and the flickering light from Greylog's friend, you all have pretty good visibility of where you're walking in, and it's...
Except Avaven, who's blinded. Blinded.
It is incredible. This massive entrance hall. Pillars supporting the weight of the pyramid. Pillars as thick around as all of you would be standing together, with massive carved coiling serpents snaking around up to the very top. Another set, not as big, but...
As we're walking, I want to make sure that all of these serpents are fake.
Make a perception check.
I don't want something sneaking up on us.
Valid point.
I just think so that you shouldn't have disadvantage, you know.
So that's a nat 20.
Alright. Greylog, looking around at the coiled serpents, you are confident that these are all carved. They blend into the stonework very well, and do not move even to breathe.
Oh, wait, also, if we're inside,
I was just keeping
do
it
I no
still.
longer get disadvantage?
As long as you're not in sunlight or what you're trying to observe isn't in sunlight, then you're good. So yeah, since you're indoors now, basically unless it's directly in the patches of sunlight coming from the window and door being open, then you're good. Then you're good.
Yay!
Speaking of, I've been as you kind of work your way
inside buildings and at night, and in storms.
Yeah. Which is why I said it's not as big of a downside as it seems, because in Dungeons & Dragons, depending on the campaign, you're going to be spending quite a bit of time either underground or in buildings or at night. That being said, I've been, speaking of, as you work your way to the side to kind of stick to the poorly lit corners of the room to put less strain on your sensitive eyes.
My special eyes.
You all look around, and outside of the pillars, there initially doesn't seem to be a lot in this room, although it is incredibly lavish and well decorated. The walls covered in imagery and iconography, the coiled serpents wrapping around the pillars, the room itself massive. But you do notice a couple things. On the opposite side of the room is a simple set of doors. They are large, but not as large as the last ones. You'd estimate them to be somewhere in the ballpark of like 10, maybe 15 feet tall. Set of wooden double doors instead of the stone ones from before. This strikes you guys as something that is more fit for human habitation. Although you imagine that the large door size would allow a dragon to slip in and out, especially if they're serpentine. But Ivabin, as you feel something, as your eyes are adjusting and you're kind of having to rub them, you feel a crunch under your foot and kind of leaping back and looking.
Is it bones?
You all, yes, you all turn and see a skeleton, the hand of which Ivabin had stepped on. And as you all look around, you see this room is littered with skeletons. Most of which are still wearing what they were wearing when something obviously happened to them.
I'm pretty sure Quetzalcoatl's followers
Can I
did
tell
believe
what
in human
happened to them?
sacrifice.
Is there any way I can tell, like maybe by a medicine check, like, what exactly happened to these people?
You can try, but they're just a skeleton, so you're going to be making this at disadvantage.
Okay.
I'm assuming they weren't.
And can I look for valuables?
They could have been human sacrifices.
Sure, make me an investigation check.
I'm not kidding you. I rolled 2 17s.
Okay. Greylog?
So that's 18.
Okay. And Greylog, your investigation?
Yeah.
Yeah, to try and find valuables.
That is 16.
Okay. Real quick, Ivabin, Paul, and Flower and Fall, what are the three of you doing? Greylog looks like he's going to start looting, and Asari bends down to the skeleton that you had stepped on, Ivabin, and seems like they're intent on trying to determine the cause of death.
Raven's just going to keep looking around the room.
Alright, you looking for anything in particular, or just
anything of interest?
Alright. I'll say you make me an investigation check as well.
Investigation. Let me pull up Wikipedia because their white pages are literally brighter than the fucking sun.
I know that feel. While you're doing that, Paul, Flowerfall, what are the two of you doing?
That is a natural 2.
Alright.
So that'll
Can
be 2. I have no plus
All right.
in investigation.
Okay. And what were you saying, Flowerfall, sorry?
I see if I can notice what caused this?
Sorry, make that medicine check. Yeah, you rolled 2 17s. So I'll say you're just helping Asari, if that's okay.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
And Paul, what are you doing? Flower and Fall are going with Asari to try and determine the cause of death.
I would sort of like to have a talk with the people's name. Don't know.
One more time, sorry?
Trying to think of who I'm trying to talk to here. Let's see.
Asari, Greylog, Ivabin, Flower and Fall.
Here. I have way of knowing. I have ways.
He has
Yeah,
his way.
I have my ways.
Yes. Under lock and key.
Oh, yeah, you're gonna check. You remember them based on species in class, I'm guessing.
Well, I know who's who and all that, but yeah. Greylog. I would like to have a little chat with Greylog.
Okay, so I guess we'll start there. Greylog, as you enthusiastically begin to strip the bones of anything valuable, you hear the armored footfalls of Paul approaching you.
Yes. I guess he'll start off with, do you think that's a smart idea?
Well, they don't need it anymore.
Kind of just he kind of just gives off this sigh. It's like he kind of wants to do something, but he just it's not his responsibility. But
Like how, his character in D5.
I think the human is having difficulties expressing his uncomfortableness with you. Stripping of the body's belongings to Greylog.
Well, to be honest, it's a little less than that. Though I do think that I don't see why you would do this, but it's less of that and more just if it does paint a bad image of us as, we're trying to talk to these serpents. Or dragons, I guess.
I'm taking it from the dead people.
Yes.
I don't think they care what happened to their old mills.
Well, even if the question is, were they even old meals?
And that's what Asari is trying to answer.
What says a guess?
I like how in D5, Zephyr is just literally 3 feet of bastard. But in this campaign, his character is like a fucking goody two shoes up here.
Yeah, no, I don't know how much Austin sticks to this, but I personally do this rule when I make D&D characters. If I try to make my whatever character I'm doing the opposite of my last one.
Yeah, no. I based it off of what build I usually go for, which this one didn't really have a build. I just wanted a nice guy.
Yeah. But yeah, Paul, do you intend to stop Greylog from looting beyond your protest, or?
I mostly just want to see what all's here.
What?
Whether I take it, I don't know yet. It's called avid curiosity.
Well, I mean, I won't technically. I won't stop you from taking it. It's not my it's not my responsibility for that. But I just see as like a potential bad image. But
Understandable.
either way,
He keeps going.
Okay. What you're able to find off of these bones, you find one, seemingly the one that was stepped on by Ivan and is now being investigated by Asari and Flower and Fall, is equipped with a hand crossbow and what appears to be 15 bolts, 2 scimitars, what appears to be a really elaborate and colorful set of robes, although they have like a leather texture to them, so you imagine they would make for decent armor, studded leather, and a pack of supplies, which it seems like all of these have packs of supplies on them.
yeah, like
Another, where...
this guy
What's up?
definitely not a sacrifice. It sounded like he was ready for war or for a battle.
Yeah. The next skeleton you check has a bow staff, 8 darts on their belt, and another pack of supplies. The next, a short sword, a crossbow, several daggers, a set of thieves' tools, leather armor, and a burglar's pack. Another has a warhammer, a thick-looking set of armor, a crossbow, a priest pack, and a shield, and appear to be wearing a valuable-looking medallion around their neck.
Let's put a quick medallion.
Alright. You take the medallion off of their body. Do you take a closer look at it, or are you just going to pocket it?
I'm gonna pocket it for now.
Okay. One of the skeletons, which appears to be mostly equipped with wooden supplies, their shield wooden, their sword wooden, their armor leather is the closest there is to any kind of artificial material, although they do have a gnarled, rotten-looking staff. And finally, the last skeleton you check. The last skeleton you check has a crossbow, some daggers and swords, and what appears to be an interesting-looking orb, about the size of your palm, like about a tennis ball size, that is this bright yellow with a black strip that looks like the slit of an eye.
I want to pick up the orb.
Okay. So, you may add the orb and the medallion to your inventory until you get them inspected.
And also want the darts.
Alright, and you may add 8 darts to your inventory.
And then I'll offer the rest to anyone else who needs it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I need the crossbow bolts.
Alright. A lot of these people had crossbows, so basically is there an amount you're trying to get up to, or are you just going to grab as many as you can salvage?
As many as I can salvage.
Alright, go ahead and make me a survival check.
Oh my gosh. Okay, there we go. let's see, you said survival?
Yeah, survival, please.
So, 13.
Okay. You go around and check their quivers of bolts. Unfortunately, these skeletons appear pretty old, and their crossbow bolts have not exactly done well, just exposed to the elements like this. But in total, you're able to salvage about 30 usable bolts.
Alright.
Returning to Flower and Fall to conduct your medical examination. You may add those bolts to your inventory. Looking down, unfortunately, again, they're skeletal. There's not exactly a obvious, thing that killed them. But the fact that their skeletons are essentially intact gives you the impression that they definitely weren't eaten. Their bones would have been crushed and scattered if that were the case. Not to mention this place would smell a lot worse. You also just kind of doubt it was the dragons anyway, as if they're as big as the legends say, any wounds they gave would definitely show. Whatever killed these guys, it was small. Something small enough for it to not leave an obvious mark on the skeletal system, just obviously killed them physically.
Human sacrifice. Obsidian
Flower,
knives.
could I ask you something?
Yes.
Are your kin in this area?
Are they what?
I think you misunderstood what they meant
Are
by
your
small.
kin in this area?
Do I know that?
Make a history check.
Yeah, one sec.
I think she misunderstood what small meant.
I mean, I've seen her do pretty big matches.
I got a nat one.
Jesus
No, your kin don't live in this area.
No, I don't think so.
Well, you need some, some new types, because those guys are bastards.
I'm gonna send you some blessed dice at one of these days. Let's see. I don't think that it was the dragon. Wouldn't have made it would smell much worse in here if it were. I guess the only thing that we can answer is if we could maybe find if there are traps or something that would have poisoned them or impaled them or injured them in some way, or perhaps they fought themselves. It's hard to say.
Well, I do know one thing. These guys are definitely dead.
Thank you, Greylock. That was very helpful.
You're welcome.
Greylog pocketing the medallion and strange eye-like orb. Ivabin, at the mention of potential traps, your investigation of the darker areas of the entrance hall kind of slows, as you do not want to risk activating a potential trap. Between that and Greylog just running around looting everything, you don't find too much, although you're free to grab anything that Greylog didn't.
Yeah, because I rolled a fucking 2.
And Paul, what are you doing?
Rip Austin.
All right.
Rip me.
Yeah, there you are.
But he'll wait for the party, because they'll just do what they're doing, because as much as he wants to, get this done, but, at least for Flower and Fall, he would prefer to have his teammates.
Okay. In that case, anything of note that you guys want to do, or do you want to move on?
Move on, please.
Okay. Let me note that he took the medallion and orb, so that's going to happen. Alright.
No thing.
Paul, the team reassembles, and giving a nod, you lead the way forward. As you push open this next set of double doors, it required significantly less effort, although you give a firm push just to be safe. And you all kind of startle as you hear this, and this, like, of dust explodes out from the door, and you all instantly panic, thinking that it might have been a trap. But Paul, as you kind of wave the dust out of your face and squint, you see that there was a skeleton leaning against the door that you knocked over by opening it. As the dust clears and you all collect yourselves, looking forward, you see a long hallway with cage doors on each side. This appears to be the dungeons. And each dungeon room, like each cell, is lined with hay. And surprisingly, now that you guys are inside, away from the lava flow and sunlight, while it's still very warm, it's more of a pleasant warmth than an oppressive one. Overall, for dungeons, it could be worse. However, you do kind of wince, as while most of the cell doors appear to be open and do not have skeletons in them, you do see one on the middle left that is closed and does have a skeleton leaned against the back of it.
Who noted this?
There are still several skeletons in here, including
skeletons.
Just everyone. Like you guys are just kind of looking around.
Okay, sorry about that.
No worries, it's all good. There is another door, similar to the one you just passed through at the opposite end of the hall. This one also being leaned up against by a skeleton, although rather than being bodily leaned up against it, it's simply leaned against the side, assuming they likely just died there. And their arm rests against the frame of the door.
There sure are a lot
Check-
of skeletons.
Check this room for valuables too.
Make an investigation check, Greylog.
Grelug, must you slow down? We have things to do.
Yeah, what if there's something important here that gives us a clue?
For what?
The 3 dragons?
Obviously, the clue was that there are 3 dragons, Grelug.
Nat 20.
Okay. Greylog, first you turn your attention... Oh, real quick, before I do that, what are the rest of you doing?
Raven's just ready to keep progressing. He's not exactly a fan of buildings full of
Yeah.
skeletons.
Valid. Paul?
Seeing all these skeletons, just in case. Okay, I would like to use a feature of Divine Scent.
Okay, so can you tell me what that does?
It's kind of like detect good and evil, but I think it can't, like, it doesn't, like, it can only be from what, like, it's wall, I won't do it, so.
Yeah, Divine Sense, within 60 feet of you, you can sense Celestials, Fiends, or Undead, as long as they aren't behind total cover.
Yeah, pretty much.
Alright. Paul, you kind of cross your arms. Real quick, Flower and Fall, I'm sorry, what are the two of you doing?
Well, disconcerting as seeing skeletons are, it's fine. We'll be fine.
That's
That's fine.
Like, we're not scared, as they're shaking.
Alright, and Asari?
She's just trying to hurry Grelog along.
Alright.
So would that be her?
Flower and Fall, you... Flower and Fall, you try to maintain your cheerful optimism and attitude despite these ever unsettling, seeming waves of the dead that came before you. As given how well equipped these people are, you get the impression these were adventurers less fortunate than all of you. Although what killed them exactly, you can't figure out. Ivaben, you kind of disconcerted as well, just avoid touching them and wait for the group to continue progressing. Asari, you kind of agitatedly hurry along Greylog. Greylog bending down to the first skeleton that was leaned up against the door. You're actually pretty satisfied with your take on this one. While their robes are filthy and basically unusable, you imagine they would tear and fall to dust if you tried to pull them. You find a dagger, a component pouch, a scholar's pack, and a spell book that, although you have to blow the dust off of it, does appear to be in working condition.
I want to take the spell book and the component pouch.
just need
Alright, add a component pouch and a spell book to your inventory. Paul, as Greylog enthusiastically loots that skeleton and moves to the next one, you cross your arms and cast your divine sense. And you get a response. Every single skeleton in this room, and the previous one, registers to you as an undead.
You just took their stuff.
Yeah, that's, I will relay this to the party as well, I wouldn't be taking their stuff, and they're not, I guess, completely dead.
Sorry, what?
As they say this, can I throw their weapons off to the side?
The weapons from the skeleton you just looted?
Yeah.
Well, all they had for weapons was a dagger, so sure. You just kind of grab the dagger from their coat pocket and chuck it away from them, and their skull actually tilts to look at you.
Would undead count as a creature?
What, you?
I believe so, yes.
Well, just in case they start to do anything. Just to double check. How big of a room is this?
The hallway in total is, doing some quick measurements, 70 feet long and 40 feet wide, counting the cells on either. If you had to have a section with cells, it would be 80 feet across.
How many skeletons are within 20 feet cube of Aven?
No, they're kind of scattered around the room.
How many are in that range?
I'll say, depending on where you go, you could get at most 3 of them at once.
Oh. Better than nothing.
Oh, 4 of them, actually.
Alright, I'm going to use the Fairy Fire spell. Each object in a 20-foot cube within range is outlined in blue, green, or violet light, your choice. Any creature in the area when the spell is cast also outlined in light. If it fails a dexterity saving throw. For For the duration, objects and affected creatures shed dim light in a 10-foot cube. Any attacks rolled against an affected creature or object has advantage if the attacker succeeds. The affected creature or object cannot benefit from being invisible.
Alright.
And 13.
Which they believe that's a failure. Let me double check to be sure, but I'm pretty sure that's right. Get the stat sheets pulled up. Needed them sooner than I expected. Sorry, just a second. In the meantime, Flower and Fall, as Paul announces this, and everyone immediately goes on the defensive. What are you doing? Paul basically, yep, confirmed these are still alive. And yes, that is a failure, so they are affected by fairy fire.
Well, they do get up. Or heck, they can just attack it now because they know they're alive now.
Well,
Can they speak?
they haven't tried.
Yeah, you haven't tried yet.
Can you talk?
Skeletons.
Flower and Fall, as you call that out, one of them actually stands up. Specifically, this one outside of the cube you hit, Ivabin, that one on the opposite side that had his arm against the door begins to stand to his feet. You all see that their clothes appear to be tattered blue sailor's clothes. And their bones are stained red with presumably the blood they shed in their death. The skeleton is otherwise intact, but literally stained with blood, and wearing tattered blue sailor's garments. As this one slowly pulls itself to its feet, using the door it was leaning against as a sort of lean-to, it tilts its head towards you, Flower and Fall, and calls out, "Who dares disturb the temple of Quetzalcoatl?"
I do. I saw it too. Kin of the dragons.
Paul, your ears kind of perk, and you turn and see the skeletons in the entrance hall all starting to stand up. I see. More thieves coming for the treasure. If you will not
We only
leave
seek audience with the
the
great
breastplate
dragon.
in peace, you will join us as its guardians.
So who was the original guardian then? Oh shit, wrong accent. So who is the original guardian then?
He kind of tilts his head towards you, and there are many entrusted with the sacred task.
But if the whole thing is that the
That
people
it?
who failed get added to it, does that mean that there was originally one of you who was just thrown in here?
He gives a slow nod and raises a hand. That honor was mine. My bones are stained red with the blood of the unworthy.
How do you
So,
find one
who-
worthy, sir?
Who was the second one who managed to lose to a single skeleton? Because they probably suck.
He draws a cutlass from his waist and points it to you, Ivabin. Care to test your might, then? Only those pre-approved by the gods may pass. All others must fall.
Who's to say we're not?
Then offer me your evidence.
That board with the black stripe. Maybe that's the evidence.
Did you hear what Jeremy said?
I heard
No.
very
Yeah.
well.
I don't know
He
how, but
tilts his
Matthew
head.
apparently did.
He tilts his head and holds out a hand to you, Greylog. Not moving from his spot, but inviting you to hand it over.
We'll pass it to him.
As you approach him, I've been as he walks past you to do this. You notice the shifting at your feet. The skeletons aren't just standing; they're almost falling to pieces, and the bones start to roll and come together in a pile in the center of the hallway. Paul, you and Asari watch as skeletons outside the entrance hall begin to do the same. This growing pile of bones forming in the center of the dungeons. And as you hold the orb out to this red painted skeleton, Greylog, what's your AC?
17.
I'll let get attacked.
He swings at you with the cutlass, dealing.
Alright, the storm's picking up, so be warned, I might lose power any second now.
Don't worry. Won't be much longer. Greylog, you take 8 slashing damage as the cutlass rakes into the arm that held out the orb, and as you pull away, he gives a bony grin to you and wrong god, mortal. And Ivabin, you step back in a fear as the bone pile, the skulls and arms begin to form together. This horrifying amalgamation of all of the unfortunate adventurers who came before you, now added to the defenses of the treasure they tried to steal. And it appears you all are next to endure this trial.
Question.
And that is where we're going to end tonight's session. What's up?
There's one thing I wanted
Here,
to say.
write it down and you can say it
Did
in
the
the
things that Avaben Mark get dragged into it as well?
Yes, yeah, so, like, that's why I did have them roll, because the thing is effectively affected by fairy fire now.
Okay, so the thing, so basically because
But,
he tagged some of them, now the whole thing is affected.
Yeah, because they're just they're literally a swarm of skeletons.
Everyone is going to have advantage against it on their attacks.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, that was
all right.
That ability before the fight actually started.
Yeah, nice. It's so nice to see that spell actually used. It's such a good spell and nobody uses
like,
it.
It's
Anyway,
hard because it's a whole ass action.
True.
Spend your turn.
True.
I feel like
build though.
Yeah, like I guess like if you're going real hard supported, it's fine as an action, but it's like a part of me is almost like that'd be nice if you could get like an upgrade for it where it's a bonus action.
Technically, you can do sorcerer if you
if you're a sorcerer, you can do that. I think.
There's a thing where you can.
But anyway. Yeah, like quicken cast. But yeah. If you want to see more of my DMing, check out twitch.tv/Graemcrackers, GRAMECRACKERZ, for my Friday campaign, The Goldshine Investigations, at 7 o'clock Central Daylight Time, taking place in the same campaign setting, featuring a party of foreigners coming to a new land, unraveling the mysteries of a cult trying to sabotage relations between two warring factions. Check out our website at officiald5hub.info, brought to life like an evil necromancer and a blood red skeleton. Check out the link that is about to be posted in chat if you want to join our official D5 Discord server and hang out with us directly. And support our episodes posted on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, Google Podcasts, and the iHeart Podcast Network, wherever you happen to get them from. For our audio listeners, catch us live on Mondays at 9:30 Central Daylight Time on twitch.tv/Odd Tornado Productions. And check out Odd Tornado Productions official on Tumblr to find links to our other works, including our Good-Hearted Paladins Twitch channel at twitch.tv/AustinFreak123. If you enjoy what we do, please support us on Patreon. I will put that link in chat as well. Or on Ko-fi at kofi.com/Odd Tornado Productions, and follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/TornadoOdd, TNO capitalized. If you liked this party and want to see more of their wacky adventures under my rule as their almighty god, check out our Tuesday game, which will be streamed tomorrow at the same time, every Tuesday at 9:30 Central Daylight Time, of Black Ink and Blue Blood, featuring a party of nobles 3 years before the events of this campaign, working to unravel a political conspiracy if they can stop trying to unravel each other first. And if you really like my DMing and just need to experience it for yourself, I am putting together a party for a paid game that will be taking place on weekends. The Feast of Judgment, taking place in the same setting but far in the future, where technology has advanced, armies have grown, and adventurers find themselves slowly becoming irrelevant. I think that's about it, so I'll be posting the links in chat, but thanks all of you at the table so much for playing, thanks all of you at home so much for watching, and we'll see you all next week.
Post the link.
I'm doing it. Do-do-do-do-do.
Good game, guys.
Hang on, I haven't ended it yet because he hasn't posted the links yet.
You don't have to.
There's
Fine.
there's the Discord, and
I still see chat even if it's ended.
and there's the Patreon. There we go.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.